Good afternoon, everyone. And it should actually be afternoon wherever you are, I believe. A lot of times it's afternoon for me, but evening for the East Coast. All right, let's jump in here into Let's Go Help 2. And today's class is Country Living and Business with Sabrina, but we're changing it up a little, and I'm really excited about this change. We were going to initially cancel this class and create an agriculture and pet space in our Unlock Your Goals collection. However, we already have pet care and Get Healthcare in the third step here. It's the last little instruction, item number 8 under step 3. It's all about pet care. And then for farming, we have in Start My Business just this beautiful space for us, this beautiful lesson for us, I should say. And it's all right here. So we don't need a secondary tab for agriculture and pets because we already have the information out there. So what we're going to start doing in this class is, well, I will still share with you what I'm doing and any grant or grant-like opportunities that I might be trying for in the country living and business world. We're going to work more towards answering your questions with these resources and getting you on track to find funding in that agricultural world. All right. So does anybody have any questions about what we're changing this to, what's going to be going forward, and the type of opportunities for this class, anything like that? And we only have go ahead.
No, I was going to say we have Patricia that has her mic unmuted. Maybe she has a question. I'm not sure.
Okay, wonderful. Patricia,
Oh,
there?
No, I'm just really new to this, so I'm sorry if I have my mic open. I don't know.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Are you in the country? It's Patricia, did you say?
Well, I have about 37.9 something acres, that I have.
No. And do you live on those, or is that a secondary property for you?
No, I live here.
And so what would you like to see happening on your property?
Well, I'm not really sure. That's why, like I say, I'm really new. Actually, I had joined before, but I didn't know how to come on, so I'm kind of excited about all this.
We're so glad you're joining in the class today. You're getting further this time. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of you because every time it seemed like I would get a announcement, I would see it later. And so I guess it wasn't your fault. It was mine about how to get into all this stuff. So,
well, let me walk you through an area where you can control your notifications somewhat, okay? So that you determine what notifications you get and how often. So when you're here in Let's Go Help 2, are you comfortable getting into Let's Go Help 2, Patricia?
You mean right now or what? I can
just whenever you're ready to come in. Do you know how to get into Let's Go Help 2 pretty easily?
Actually, I just been clicking on, I was wondering, I had an announcement. I just clicked on it, so I don't know if
that's in your email or
yeah, in my email. Yes.
Okay. Let's see if you've set up an account here and Let's Go Help 2. Is it P-A-T? Oh, and it took away my A. Patricia, spelled like that? P-A-T?
Yes.
And then your last name, my dear?
Is Horoshak, Horoshak.
That should get you. And there you are right there. You see yourself there?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just copy your name. So that means that you have been in Let's Go Help 2, okay?
And yeah, I started it, but I wasn't sure if it, if I was doing it right,
You are. You're doing everything right so far. You're doing a great job, and there's not something really wrong you can do. So don't worry about that, but everything you're doing is great, all right?
Well, you're a sweetheart. Thank
you. It's really easy with this community. Everybody is so kind and willing to try new things and really work together and encourage each other. It's so easy to be kind in this community. So,
that's wonderful. That's
it is, isn't it?
Because my problem is I'm a victim of identity theft, and
oh no,
and not only that, for one of the things that somebody charged up on my on one of my accounts and Fingerhut, and they it was like 1,000. Now it's 1,900. Then I got a statement. They took it off. And then it comes back. They're putting it on, and
Oh my
so
goodness.
yeah. So I got to work on that and my credit and stuff. But
That's
just
not any fun. I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah, I guess you just got to do what you got to do. So this program is just really exciting for me. There's so much.
Well, and I actually have some resources for you that are from the government to help you deal with this problem that you've had where you've been hacked and maybe lost some control over your identity and things of that nature. So we'll get those resources for you right now so that you can get in touch with these government entities that are out there to help you in moments like that. Okay.
Yeah, and I watched that death thing, and I can you just go in there and follow the steps, or do I have to do it
The pay my debt and bill space, is that what you're speaking of, Patricia?
Yes, that
Yes, that is designed for you to just go in and start working the steps.
Oh,
Don't just
good.
read and watch videos. You need to actually click the links and go to the website and start looking for applications or contact
good.
information. Okay, that's how you work those steps. And we're going to do some of that today. So I will
good.
give you an example of what that looks like. Okay.
Well, you're kind of my hero because I see you all over, and I think that's awesome that you're helping everybody.
Well, I've learned so much from Matthew Lesko, and then so much of what he does correlates to skills that I have from my own life with researching. I'm an education expert. I am 1 year lacking for my teaching certificate, but I don't really agree with the traditional education system anymore. So I'm an alternative educator, and this is just something. I'm a social media expert, so it just all really works out well. I took all of my previous skills and learned all about the grant world from Matthew Lesko, and now I just can run with it for you guys. So it's really
It's wonderful.
So now let's grab you're interested in, it sounds like, in the pay my debt and bills. So let's grab the little paragraph about working that step.
Okay.
And then we'll do some of that together really quickly.
Oh, good.
But you'll want to join the class for it next week on Wednesday if you're able to.
I'm
Tony
planning on doing that. I just listened to it like yesterday, and so I'm planning on keep listening till I really get it. And I was going to ask you, is there like forms or is there a certain way to ask, or I did buy a book on it from but I was just wanting to help you.
There's no one way to answer that. We just need to find our own comfort when we're communicating with these people. We want to be thorough, but concise. So we want to make sure we touch on the relevant, important information, but we don't want to talk like we're talking to our best friend or our mother or our neighbor. We want to be professional and friendly with a smile on our face, which will put a smile in our voice, give them all the relevant information, and then answer any questions that they have. But we don't want to take a tremendous amount of their time, but we want to make sure they have what they need. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, but it's just that I guess the thing is, you always wonder, okay, am I doing this right? Or
there isn't a right. That's, what you're spending a lot of time worrying about things that are just gonna stop you from moving forward, and you should quit spending your time worrying about stuff that may never even happen, and just get out there and give it a try, because the real answer is the way you find the answer for yourself for these questions is to get that experience so that you know how you want to communicate, because you can't communicate as I am, because that's how I communicate, and I can't communicate how you do because that's how you communicate. So you can take all of our different suggestions and let those percolate through your mind, and then find a way to say it in your own words. You don't want to just try to copy someone or have a rote speech. And the more you start talking to these people, the more comfortable it will become. I promise you, that's just the way it works for everyone.
Fantastic. Well, you're my great supporter. Then I can ask you questions and stuff, right?
Always can. If you, of course, you're welcome in my classes and calls and sessions. And then if you need to talk to me when we're not live, can you see my mouse here where I'm moving it in a circle?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Can you see my mouse where I'm moving? Okay. So all you need to do to talk to anybody is write the @ symbol. You see how it
Okay.
dropped down when I type that @ symbol there?
Okay.
And then I'm going to type SA, and that's going to generate mine because I'm a host. So all you have to do is type @SA, and my name will be generated. And then you click that. And that is going to create a clickable link tag that will also send me a notification that you're trying to talk to me.
Cool. Well, that's great.
And you can do that for anyone. So like for Tammy, our Lesko Navigator volunteer squad, who is out there just constantly, you just hit @ type up her name, make sure it's an IE, or it won't show, and then an L, and then Tammy Larson will appear. You just hit enter, and you've got a tag. Michelle Cairns is another one that's out there all the time, and once you type Michelle, CAI, hers will appear. And then Benny, Tammy, and Michelle are our most active members and staff members.
Cool.
Tammy Larson is our Lesko Navigator volunteer squad leader. Michelle Cairns is one of our staff members who used to be a volunteer. And Benny is, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Ark, I think maybe, Ars, I'm not sure. But Benny is, we call him an honorary volunteer because he hasn't actually made the full transition into a volunteer, but gosh, he's out there helping you guys all day, every day. And so those
that's
3 tags you might want to know how to make, but you can make a tag for yourself. So all I have to do is type @Patricia, and then I start typing the H, and then it was OR, and then O, and then that's when it provides your tag. And then I hit enter, and I've tagged you, and you would get a notification if I hit comment now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That's
right.
great. There's a lot of people out there. That's awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
glad I finally discovered how to get on, you know.
I am too. It really is a light bulb moment for most people when they manage to get into one of the classes, because having someone that can immediately answer their questions and then you can turn around and ask any other questions you need to right back at them is the most cohesive way of figuring out whatever you're struggling with, right?
Cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now let's make sure that you can get this answer, Patricia. So are you on a phone, a laptop, tablet, computer? What will you be on when you're working for with Lesko Help 2?
Well, I have this iPad, but it's I might have to go on to a laptop because I'm having trouble charging it. It's like some days it'll go up to 100 and some days it won't charge. So I probably
you have a laptop, you said?
Yeah, I do have a laptop.
A laptop will be much better if you're able to utilize it anyway. So I would recommend that you go ahead and start practicing with your laptop whenever you're able to.
Yeah, I'll have to make the transfer on that. Yes.
Okay. So. And so where are you coming from that you signed in and created your account? What device were you on when you did that?
I think I was just on my Samsung phone, but the problem was, you know, my phone's been being hacked constantly that I keep taking things off of it. So, so anyhow, then I went into this iPad, but I know I have to get on something that's more, you know, it's an older iPad. I think it'll be okay though. I haven't really used it.
It will. The reason I ask is because different things are available on different devices. And so if you're going to be using your tablet, you're going to be utilizing most likely the Mighty Networks app. Does that sound familiar? Do you have the Mighty Networks app on your phone?
It's been popping up, but I don't think I actually put it in. But, you know, I guess.
Do you think you use the browser on your phone then to sign in?
Yeah, like I say, I joined Zoom and then.
No, this is something different. I created your account on Lesko Help 2.
Oh, I created it on this iPad.
And then did you use a browser window or did you use the Mighty Networks app?
I don't remember, but I think I must have used the Mighty one because it pops up, you know. So I don't know. I just somehow got in, and then.
Okay, so you should get an email again. When you get back into Lesko Help 2, however you're doing that, you want to look for your notification bell. Do you see where my mouse is circling in the upper right corner?
Oh, yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, see where it's underlining this little bell with the 4 in a yellow block? You see this right here?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to have your picture instead of my picture. And
Okay.
then right next to that is going to be that little bell. If you're on your tablet or phone, it'll probably be in the bottom corner instead, but it's still the same 2 icons you're looking for. Your face right next to a bell, okay? You want to click that bell because that's where we communicate with you. It'll say Sabrina Giesler, Patricia, and I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, and then it'll kind of trail off. And that's what you want to get this answer that I've provided for you here. Sorry, I'm in the wrong button.
Okay, so back up now. So I go into the Mighty thing. Do I put the app
Well,
in?
I think you've used an email to get in here.
Yeah, I did.
So
Yes.
you should get an email. If nothing else, you should get a daily digest from Lesko Help 2 activity for the day.
Okay.
And you can use that email to get into Lesko Help 2. And then you can determine if you're using a browser like Google Chrome or Microsoft Bing or whatever, or if you're using the Mighty Networks app. You need to determine how you're getting in so that you can control being able to get in when you want. Does that make sense?
Right. So
there's
are you
2
saying
different ways. If you are on a Samsung, so that's Android. So I'm going to go to the Google Play Store. Okay. And then you just look for the Mighty Networks app.
Okay.
And you only have to type in Mighty generally. It's going to be there. Mighty Networks. You see that?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to click that. And this is the actual app and what it looks like.
Oh,
In the
cool.
store, it usually looks like a square, a black square with lowercase white writing that just says Mighty, not Mighty Networks. It is the Mighty Networks app, but it just says Mighty on its app.
Oh.
So you want to make sure you have that installed on your phone and your tablet, okay? And then you can log in there. You'll need to know if you use a password and an email, which is the most common.
Right.
Or your Google account, Facebook account, LinkedIn account, or Apple ID. Then you just log in and you'll be logged in on any device that you're using. Now, if you're using a browser window, if you're using, like I am, Google Chrome, instead there you go to mightynetworks.com. You see that? Mightynetworks.com.
Okay.
And make sure it's got that plural, mightynetworks.com, and hit enter. And then you want to find this login button right here. You click login. And then you put your email that is associated with your account. So I just use leskohelp@gmail.com as an example, and then you would hit send. And then you go into your email inbox, and it will have sent you a list of the Mighty Network platforms that you're subscribed to. Like for myself, I'm subscribed to Lesko Help 2. I'm subscribed to our Mighty Networks expert, Julia May's Mighty Network. I'm in the Mighty Network Mighty Community, and then I have my own Mighty Network, and all of them are different. And so that's what I mean when it'll show you what you're associated with. Most of you will just be associated with Lesko Help 2, but that's why it's set up like that, in case you're involved with others. Like I've been involved with Collective Evolution's Mighty Network at one point. So there's thousands of Mighty Networks. Matthew Lesko's Lesko Help 2 is one of those networks. So then you go to your inbox and it'll say Lesko Help 2, and then you'll click that to get into your account on a browser. Okay?
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just a lot of information, but I think it sounds to me the easiest thing is to do to get that app and then, play with all this other stuff because I want to know all what's going on. I'm just.
It's easiest to get the app to follow the steps to sign in, but if you sign in on your laptop, you will be able to see your screen like mine is right now, where you have your contents menu always exposed. On your phone, you have to expose your contents menu. You don't have as many options. You won't see everything. So a phone is a great way to start and get that experience. But when you have a laptop, definitely you want to make that transition over to the laptop because you're going to have more options.
Oh, good. That's great. I'm glad you're telling me. You gave me a lot of good information because I paid for this last year and I had no idea and I couldn't even, there was no phone or anything. And I guess I was,
Nope,
Uh,
these classes are our most direct form of one-on-one interaction, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
well,
so I
that's
can't really do a whole lot more to get you in here, but do you feel like you'll be comfortable getting into Let's Go Help too? And that notification bell to get that answer from us, Patricia?
yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is there anything else that we can answer for you while you have the floor?
No, but thank you very much. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry I took up so much time from
No,
maybe
no,
somebody
you're
else.
great. That's
Oh,
just,
thank
we
you.
only have, there's only 9 of us in here today. So that's
Oh, okay.
a great day for it. We're transitioning this class from a later evening class to an early afternoon. And so we're going to have to build it back up again. On top
One
of that,
other
I would,
question. One other question.
let me just say this one thing real quick, Patricia, and
Oh,
then
I'm
after, no, you're fine. I just provided you with the basics right now today.
Okay.
And
Good.
so what I would like for you to do is utilize that information. And then I'd like for you to come back to one of my country living in business when you're a little more established. You're welcome to come to all of them anytime, of course.
Sure.
But I would love to work with you on your property about that country living stuff. But you're just getting started. So I feel like that's too much for you right now. It'd be better for you to get comfortable navigating everything. Then we can work on those opportunities in the country world. Does that sound good?
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent.
Can I ask you a question now? Just
yes.
one.
Mhm.
Now, it seemed to me before that when I got a notification, it was Eastern time. And I guess I'm a little concerned about when I get a notification, and now you guys are an hour or 2 hours ahead of us, or how is that?
We're all over there, even people in the Hawaii time zone here in our community. So when we send out information, we put it in Eastern time. When you're in the platform, because like for instance, myself, I'm in Mountain time, okay? And so if I go into our calendar and I pull up one of our events, it's going to be listed for me in Mountain time, and it tells you right there. So if you go into our calendar and you click on an event page, it's going to be listed in your time. But the literature that we put it out always in Eastern time. What time zone are you in, Patricia?
I'm in Central time.
So you're going to be an hour behind anything that we put out, like those notifications for classes. When it says your host, Sabrina Giesler, or Sabrina sent you a message and you click that and it has the information about it, that's always going to be in Eastern time. But when you're in Let's Go Help 2 and you pull up one of the event pages, it should be in your time zone.
Oh, okay. My time zone, but you're in, and I'm one. And so if it's what, like say 3 o'clock, then I have to go in at 4 o'clock, right?
What I would recommend is you come into Let's Go Help 2. Do you see my calendar or my contents menu that I'm circling over here on the left-hand side?
Yes.
This button right here, it's up in the top portion, the smaller portion of your contents menu. It's called Our Calendar.
Right.
I recommend that you jump in here, and it should all be listed in Central time zone for you. So this one will say 2:45 p.m. This will say 4 o'clock p.m. This will say 9:30 a.m. This one would be 6 o'clock p.m. And if it doesn't, when you click the full event page, if it says Eastern Daylight Time or Pacific Daylight Time, then your time zone isn't set up correctly. To correct your time zone, you look for your face. You know how we've talked about your face in that notification bell, right?
Right.
You just click your face and you go into your personal settings. No, click your account. That's your name. Click your name. I'm sorry, I don't have to do this very often, so I have to think about it. And then you scroll all the way down to the bottom past all of this stuff. And it should have your time zone down here. No, it doesn't. Okay, let me think about this. I apologize. Let me go back. Not going to be your name then. It's going to be your personal settings. Let's try that. So we'll click personal settings and account. No. They've changed things as well, so that might be why. Okay, this is where you need it. So this is the steps you go through. Click your face, Patricia, then click personal settings.
Right.
Then you want to click edit profile. Edit profile.
Okay.
And then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it shows your time zone. And you want to make sure that's in the correct time zone. Okay?
Okay. One other question.
Yes.
I was on, I don't know which one of them was, but there was things that were extra money now. Is is that something that we can pay for, or I guess
I'm sorry, say it again. What is your question? I'm confused.
It seems to me yesterday was on one of the sites and it said, pay $15 for this or that. Now is
We
that
don't charge anything but the subscription cost. And when you initially purchase your subscription, you have the option to buy a few ebooks if you'd like. But other than that, we don't charge you anything. You should never see charges for us. There are some grant and grant-like opportunities that have small fees, such as the Ember Grant for women business owners. And that's a $15 fee for being eligible for all of their grants for 3 months. And then if you didn't get selected, you have to enter again. It's another $15.
That's great to hear. I was a little confused. So
but I would like to know more about the site before I tell you it's valid. What site was it? You got to really know where you're going, Patricia. You've already dealt with having your identity compromised. You really need to make sure you're clicking links from us, because if you click a website from us and then you click a link on that website, then you're going away from where we've directed you, right?
No,
unless it's in the website itself. Like some of them have advertisements, right? We don't control that. Some have advertisements. You don't want to click advertisements ever, just links within the actual website. So I don't know where you got this $15 thing that you're talking about. Do you know where you were?
I really don't know. That's why.
Okay, don't pay it then. Don't pay it. X out of that and get some more experience before you pay anybody anything. Okay?
Okay, good. That's good. Thank you.
Because there are those people out there, right? Even some of our HUD-approved counselors that we direct you to, they can charge up to $100 and $120. They're calling that a smart charge with the way things are costing these days. But you need to make sure you know that it's one of the places that we recommend that does occasionally charge a small fee, not just some random person going to take your money and maybe your identity. So where you're already a little bit damaged there and maybe you aren't quite ready to take on your own cybersecurity, make sure you're working more closely with us until you get that experience to click on anything that would have a charge associated with it.
Okay, so where do you said my mic was on, where do I shut that off?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You said my mic was on, my microphone was on.
Okay. Do you see a Zoom toolbar where there's a microphone on your screen? Tap it. You may need to tap it, and then a Zoom toolbar may appear. If not, try swiping left or right and then tapping again.
I don't see that toolbar.
Okay, not a problem. I'm going to mute you. And I'm also going to give you the Zoom Learning Center link so that you can go and get some understanding of how to utilize Zoom. Okay.
Oh, good. I need that too. I've never been on Zoom before.
It all takes experience, Patricia, and all of it, stepping out of your comfort zone, is one of the things that really indicates your ability to gain success, because learning new skills is kind of a requirement for the course, right? To get money from the government is not something that most of us have ever done before. If we have, it's been more like Social Security or TANF or food stamps or Medicaid or something. This is a new world for all of us. So you just keep dipping your toes in that water. And when you're worried about your identity and some things like that, you want to really work with us closely until you understand that world better so that you can keep yourself safe out there. Another thing I'm going to provide for you is the safety warning space. And I would encourage that you go in there and spend some time. Don't overwhelm yourself. There's a lot going on that is foreign attacks on our internet and things like that, and it can get really overwhelming. So only read an article or two a day. Tammy Larson, our volunteer squad leader, has got a lot of really great information in there for you, but it can be really, really depressing to know how much we're facing as an attack. So don't let yourself get too bogged down by it. Just read 1 to 3 articles a day, okay? And start getting yourself trained on how to keep yourself safe out there in that online world and beyond.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Is there anything else that we can answer for you before we hand the floor over to Mike?
No, just I I'm not sure if my mic is off.
I'll mute you when we're completely done. Don't worry about that, Patricia. And then you have that Zoom learning link where you can go in there and start learning how to do that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really learned a lot from you.
Excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. And then once you get into Let's Go Help 2, you can watch this as a replay. We are a little bit behind, but Amber Littlefield's getting us caught up, and soon this one will be posted. And you can jump in and learn again so that it's repetition to repeat these things, because it is an awful lot of information in one setting.
Did you say Let's Go? What was I going to Let's Go Play? Did you say?
Let's Go Help 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. I thought you said going to Let's Go Play, and I no. Okay, it's my
Let's Go Play.
No, okay. I will do that. Thank you.
All right, my dear. Thank you. And we do have several other classes, at least 2 other classes coming tonight. So if you struggle at all, just look for those notifications in your email and jump into that class and ask for some additional help. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear. All right, now I got you muted. And then Mike, how can we help you today?
Okay, I got a few questions here.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out what is the difference between what you're teaching and what Amber's teaching. Because you're teaching business and she's teaching business, right? So what is the difference?
Well, okay, so we're going to change some of that up, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Amber about it. So I don't want to get too detailed. Amber has Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays all about business with Amber. Amber's specialty is in dealing with government contracts and things like that. And she has more than just that area, but that's really the area that we depend on her for. She understands how to use things like grants.gov and sam.gov that are relatively complicated. And she's a really good resource to utilize when one is wanting to do any kind of work with the government or different branches of the government, state government even, all those kinds of things. Then myself, this one here is my country living in business. So it doesn't have to be business. It's agriculture and pets, basically. So whether you have a business that's agriculture or you live in a rural area, or you're in an urban area and you want to pursue agriculture in your urban area, there's a lot of different things within that, but it's agriculture and pets for country living and business. Then we have Megan P's Thursday and Sunday classes, where she primarily deals with nonprofit, but she also does handle a lot of for-profit information. And she's just really, really excellent at finding opportunities in the grant world, as is Amber Hawkins. But Megan is probably our strongest in that category, but she does prefer nonprofit. She does work with for-profit businesses. Then we have our calls, and that's going to be once a week, every Wednesday. It has been being Amber and was supposed to be Amber and Michelle, but it's not working out quite the way it was intended. So I will be taking over those, and those will be Q&A calls about resources to get you going further with your business, whether you're just starting or you're well established. It's like a Q&A resource providing call. Does that make sense? Does that help you kind of understand where everybody's at?
Yes, that does. So that's clear. Now, yesterday I was on with Tony, well, Roger and Tammy. I was on with Roger and Tammy, and they were showing me how to, because I told them I wanted to start a business, and they said that they took me through the system, and it ended up whereas I was supposed to talk to the HUD counselor. So I wanted to talk to the HUD counselor today.
That wouldn't be for business. Well, something miscommunicated there. When you're talking to business, you want to do America's SBDC counselors or score.org counselors. There are a few other options if you're a minority, if you're a female, if you're a farmer. There's some other mentors out there business-wise, but HUD is not about business at all.
So what is that for?
Finances and purchasing a home.
I was talking to him about purchasing a home too. So maybe that's why they told me the HUD counselor.
Yes, absolutely.
So I don't know. I tried to find the replay. And when I went to the replay. They're not
posted yet. Amber Littlefield is getting us caught up, but I got really busy helping Julia May, our Mighty Networks expert, get these spaces in the Unlock Your Goals collection set up. And I got really behind in posting the classes. So I had to delegate that to another one of our staff members. And she's trying to get us caught up from where I had gotten so far behind. So she's getting us there. What you want to look for in your notifications there. Amber added 040925, Pay My Debt and Bills with Tony and Tammy. That's a class that she just added 14 minutes ago. And so it's working up there. We're on, today's 424. She's on 409. So yesterday's class with Tammy and Tony was the 23rd. So you just want to look for one coming out in the next few days on 42325 AI with Roger and Tammy.
Okay. And then that's when I'll see the video. Because I went up there and I was like, well, what am I doing? Because all I could see was the text.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the next thing that I'm really interested in, I have some business ideas that I want to start. I'm looking for money to get a business going, but I do have some ideas, some things I want to do.
What is your last name, Mike? What is your account
Robinson.
under? Okay,
Mr.
is it
Robinson.
Michael, Mr. Robinson.
Mr. Robinson.
Oh, and I have to put an @ that would make it work a lot better, wouldn't it?
And it's actually Micah, but you know, I got it all screwed up. That's what my account's set up under Mr. Robinson.
Gotcha. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you with those unlock your goals spaces. You're interested in buying a home, paying your debt and bills, and start a business. Is that right?
Start a business. I don't really have any debts, but you know, I could help anything that would help me with utility bills and that type of stuff because I'm getting ready to pick that up.
Okay.
But I don't have it today.
Okay. Well, would you rather I skip the pay debt and bills, or did you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think I'll skip that for now, but I definitely want to buy the home one, and I want the business one for sure, because I definitely have some business ideas.
That's where you're like sounding really strong there. So we'll put the business information as your first. This is the step-by-step guide. That's what I'm going to actually create a link preview for. And that's the step-by-step portion of it that you start working. Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll also put the buy a home information. And both of those spaces encourage you to get a mentor first. As I said, they're different types of mentors. You have the HUD approved counselors for buying a home and paying my debt and bills. And then for business, you have my personal preferences, America's SBDC.org, and they are funded by the government, and they're like a separate entity, but they're funded and maintained by the government, and they'll work with you every other week very easily. Whereas score.org, they are volunteers, and they generally only meet with you about every 6 weeks. So some people don't need to meet as often. Maybe 6 weeks is better. So those are kind of how you determine with your most basic business mentors. There are also, I don't want to profile, but it does sound like perhaps you have a bit of African American in your ancestry. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. There are counselors out there for minority and underserved communities. And underserved communities can be what we traditionally call like minorities and females. Or it can be very, very low income areas, or it could be a rural area that doesn't have a lot of resources. You in an urban area, you are considered an underserved community if you want to do agriculture. As urbanized, you're underserved around agriculture, right? So there's a bunch of different ways to look at that. But there are counselors out there specifically for those of us who are categorized as minority and or female, because obviously female is sometimes separated and sometimes counted as a minority. So there are also farmer mentors. If you want to go to real estate, you want to get like a real estate mentor, and that would be where you would just find someone in the real estate world and start working with them, provide them internship type duties, and then they're teaching you while you're going. Those are the different kinds of like business.
Wait a minute. Back up. So you said that I could get an internship in reference to real estate? What are you talking about? Like really? To become an agent or an investor?
If that's where you wanted to go with it, right? Each person's journey is their own. Each person decides what pieces they do and don't want. Okay, me, I'm not interested in real estate, so I don't know a lot of the ins and outs of that business. But I know that to gain the knowledge of those ins and outs, what Matthew would recommend that you do is go to something called meetup.com. And you want to sign in and all that good stuff. It's free. And then you search events or you search your area and you want to look for realtor meetup, realtor events where you can get to know the community in your area. That is the realtor community in your area. And you start meeting people. And then if you find somebody that you really feel like you could learn a lot from, you can ask, you know, would you be willing to mentor me if I provided you some gopher style work to train me in this industry, da 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 da. Does that make sense how you would do that for a specialized mentorship if you were pursuing that? Because some of these things have setups, like the America's SBDC mentorship program for businesses. Some of them don't. If you're looking for a publicist mentor, somebody who's published their own work privately, not through like, you know, Bantam Books or something, and you want to learn how they did that, then you have to learn how to approach a person to see if they would be willing to mentor you for some low-level labor that you do for them, or filing, or do you hear where I'm coming from?
Yes.
Okay. So would you like to have meetup.com? Did I hit on something? Are you interested in real estate?
Yes.
All right.
I've been in real estate in the past. I'm looking to go back to it.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a great way to start networking again and getting yourself back into the field and knowing the people who are movers and shakers in your area for that field and things. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
But the number one thing I think I'm interested in right now is raising money for a business. I'm highly interested in that.
Interested in, but we can't start there. I want you to think about this. You're an entity that hands out money to people, and you have somebody that approaches you and they've got their business plan all put together and they've already invested maybe a couple of years and several $1,000s. Or you have somebody and they come and they're like, hey, I need funding, right? Who are you going to look to probably give funding to? The first or the second option?
The first, the most prepared.
Not only the most prepared, but somebody who has put their own effort and finances into it to a degree. They realize that we might not be able to get 30,000, but if we're wanting 30,000, we probably ought to have put in at least $3,000 of our own money while we're getting it started up. Businesses aren't subsistence. Medicaid, TANF, food stamps, Medicare, Social Security, disability. Those things, if you qualify and there's money, you get it. Business is competition based. Absolutely, almost 100% of the time, competition based. You can't just go in with your hand out. You've got to give them something to make them feel what you're doing, understand what you're doing, spend a little bit of time familiarizing them with what you're doing, what goals you have without talking about funding. Then you say, okay, so now this is where I'm at. I think you have a pretty good idea of an overview, and I really need to start approaching putting out a website or a marketing campaign or whatever it is. Do you know of any programs or institutes that are out there to help me accomplish this goal? Do you see the difference? Because like, that's how everybody approaches it. They're like, okay, so what I need the most is money. Well, duh, right? What does everybody need? Money. But we have to think about our approach. I have so many people that go to these meetings and they think they're following the instructions. And the first thing they talk about is they need money, they need funding, they need a grant. That is 100% going to get you just shoved right back out the door. They're not even going to pay any attention to you. You have to show that you're invested yourself, both with your time and some of your money. It doesn't have to be this huge investment. Maybe you only bring in $23,000 a year, but you've managed to put $300 towards your investment. That's showing commitment at a $23,000 salary. Do you see where I'm coming from? If you make $150,000, you probably want to have put in at least $10,000. Do you see where I'm coming from? What I'm talking about? Showing your commitment, showing your investment, not just putting our hand out and saying we need money, right?
So basically what I think you're saying to me is that a person who's trying to get money for a startup is going to be more difficult until you can actually get something going. So
No,
it's hard.
no, not at all. I have been working with an SBDC mentor that's put me in line for multiple. I haven't managed to find the time to pursue them yet. One of them is off the table. One of them is still on the table. And I haven't made a single dollar from my secondary business, but I've been investing my time in it for almost 5 years, and it's a big, complicated business. No one should normally do this. Okay, but I'm building like an agricultural online Facebook. That's a big, big thought. So I'm an exception. So if you're more traditional, you maybe want to meet with them 3 times to 6 times, laying out what you're doing, what your goals are, where you want to go, what skills you have, what skills you need, etc. Then on like your 3rd or 6th meeting, you lay out the goals you have and the kind of funding you're going to need in order to accomplish that. And you see where you go from there, because sometimes there's opportunities they can point you towards in their region, and sometimes there's not. Sometimes they're going to help you get a loan because there aren't really any opportunities, and you want to get started now. You don't want to wait for an opportunity. Every one of us is different. Every region is different. Every business is different. There are no one size fits all answers in regards to what's available to us. The one size fits all is you've got to show them in business, not everything, not healthcare, not food, not paying your debt and bills, getting mortgage or rent assistance, but in business, starting a nonprofit, those types of ventures, you can't just say, hey, I have this really good idea and I need somebody to help me pay for it. You have to show more investment than that. Time and some money, right? You can't just have an idea. It doesn't have to be making money. You don't have to have a physical location. You don't even have to have a website or a business plan. But if you just tell them, hey, I have this idea and I need to get it funded, they're not going to help you. Do you understand what I'm trying to communicate?
No, I totally get it.
Okay. So you don't start with the funding. You start with getting them to understand your business proposition, wherever you are with it. Then once you've well explained yourself, then you outline the goals, the most immediate goals, not your far-flung 5-year goal set, but your 3-month goal set, your 1-year goal set, and you talk about what you need to do in order to move to these next steps and how much you think that's going to cost. And then ask if there is anything that your business mentor knows of out there that is supporting the type of venture you wanting to put out there. You don't have to use help or assistance. There's many ways to word it, right?
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
How about this angle? How about a business angle that for things that they're trying to put money out there, but they don't have the people who are filling that void? How do you find opportunities like that? Because maybe, my thought
So you're
is
saying
I
like
want
you
to.
don't know what business you want to have. You
No,
want to
no,
find
no,
a
no,
business that fills
no,
a
no,
niche.
no, 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 no. Let's say I got an idea. I want to do A,
Okay.
but this person who's putting the grant out there says, I'm looking for people to do B and C. And then I look at B and C and I'm like, okay, I could change what I'm trying to do
Absolutely.
to encompass B and C.
Yeah.
And now for me to get the money because
Yep.
I'm lining up with their goals.
Absolutely. Always being honest, always following through, right, to the change that you've made. But yes, that is the perspective 1000% that you want to have right there. You stated it fabulously.
Okay. So how do I find resources like that? Whereas those type of people are out there, because I know there has to be people out there like that.
Well, that's where you've got to just start putting in the work and getting the business mentor and starting to tear through the resources that we have here for you and coming to the classes and listening to Matthew's videos that deal with business to see what new business niche grants might be out there that you could look for, et cetera, et cetera. There's no one size fits all. The best thing that is, just don't worry about all your questions and start learning the answers by doing it.
Okay. So
that makes sense. I understand all of your questions, your and Patricia's questions. I think the majority of us, I started as a member as well, okay? I think we've all felt some of those questions. The true answer is you're spending too much time worrying about things that may or may not ever even come up, and you just need to start getting out there and getting the experience, utilizing the resources, going to the website, tearing those websites apart, looking for applications or contact information where you can talk to someone, signing up for these mentors. Just do it. I swear to God, Nike's slogan, just do it, is better than worrying about all these questions, though they're understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Really, like when we worry, well, what if they don't like me? Or what if they don't like my shoes? Or what if they don't,
No.
you know, that's like what we did when we were in high school, or maybe changing schools or something, right? Those questions, did they end up serving us really in the end?
Right. But see, that type of stuff isn't where I'm really concerned about. What I'm really concerned about is I want to know what people are asking for. They're looking for B, they're looking for C, they're looking
The
for
only
D.
way to do that is to start talking to the people handing out the money. And every one of them is going to be different. There's still no one size fits all answer.
Right. But see, the thing is I don't know where the people who are handing out the money are at.
That's why you've got to start utilizing the resources that we're providing you. That's how you start finding out where those people are.
Well, that's why I'm on here with you.
Totally. And so that's where you've got the business and the buy a home. And when you jump into those steps, let's just do it the business. That's what you talked about the most. There are these steps. We don't just want to read these beautiful pieces and look at the videos. We want to follow the steps. So this one doesn't necessarily have steps. You can just read that one. Then you read this one. It sets you up. It makes you understand what you're getting ready to deal with. Okay. Then you can just jump in right here. She's got it all set up. So this is step one. Click step one. Okay. Now you watch Matthew's video. Then you want to start clicking the links. So let's just go to americassbdc.org. So the first step in getting a business mentor is just inputting your zip code. So if you don't mind sharing your zip code with us, Micah.
17110.
All right, and then we hit find an advisor, and it generates this list for us. So then the next step for you will be, and we'll walk through this together, and then I've got to let everybody go because there's another class in 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oops, that's not where I want to be. This is, where do I have your answer? Here we go. No, it must be here. No, I started one for you. I thought I had.
You know what you're talking about doing? Actually, this morning I started that process of what
That's
you're telling me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on that page for doing that. Yes, I was going down that path.
And so then you want to make sure that you're clicking those links and working the steps, not just reading and things, right? And so, oh wait, let me find here's your space. Okay, so this is the list that the americassbdc.org generated for you, starting with Shippensburg University SBDC. That's your closest one, and it does look like it's a little bit of a distance away from you there, 37 miles. So then you can go to their website. So let's do that. We're going to click their website, and we're looking for that business mentorship, business counseling, and bam, theirs is easy. It's not always as easy. Yours is super, super excellent. Okay, start a business, grow a business, buy, sell, what to expect, agriculture, cybersecurity. They have all these different things. It sounds like start a business is really where you're at, right?
Right.
I'm going to click that. Then you have all this information. You definitely want to read that. Let's grab this link for you. And then it's real clear. All you need to do is request consulting. Okay, so then you're going to do that. And then you have
all that's free, or is that a paid service?
It's all free. Sometimes the HUD approved counselors do charge a fee. The SBDC is always free.
Okay.
So you just go to that website. And in fact, I can just get you all of them. Okay, so there's this one.
What's a HUD approved counselor?
A HUD approved counselor is a counselor that's been vetted by HUD and approved to that they believe that they are quality service to provide counseling on debt and credit in many times preparation for purchasing a home.
Okay.
So this is their overall website. That's what I've shared here first. Okay.
Okay.
And the next link that I'm going to share is how you request that counseling. And there's just that big button on there that just said request counseling. That's all, or consulting, request consulting. You click that button, request consulting, and fill it out and submit and start the process. They're going to ask you to select a center. They're going to ask some details, your company details. They're going to have you sign an agreement. then they're gonna ask for an area of assistance. And then generally what they do is they reach out to email to set up the first appointment. So you got to keep an eye on your email, okay?
Okay. And you said an agreement. What kind of agreement are we talking about?
Just that you're going to
My
utilize
commitment?
their services and fill out surveys if they ask you to, because they're proving to the government that they're doing their job by saying we've helped this many small businesses have hired this many people because we assisted them, et cetera, et cetera. So they need you to fill out those surveys. So it's not this huge, scary agreement. It's a very basic agreement.
Okay. Okay.
And it's a very simple application process. The HUD approved counselors will be actually quite a bit more difficult because there you are wanting to have them help you get your credit and debt, usually to be ready to purchase a home. You don't have to be ready to purchase a home. You can just utilize it for help with your debt and credit. But that's the overall goal that they have as an entity, is to try to help people become ready to buy a home. Now, when you're doing that, you'll need to provide like 2 months of paycheck stubs, your lease or mortgage, bank statement, maybe some bills, some different things like that. So it takes a little bit more intensity to get the HUD process started with a counselor, because they're needing to understand your overall financial picture to be able to advise you from where you are going forward. The SBDC applications are pretty simple because they don't care. You could be making $1 million, or you might never have made $1. Like I said, there's still going to be free business mentorship for you.
Okay. Okay.
So
The main thing that would really help me with the buy a home is, finding any type of grants that are out there for first time home buyer,
and so that's
grants.
where I recommend you go to the buy a home call next Monday. And there are a lot of ways to walk through that process, but I do have to let you guys go because we have another class starting in 7 minutes.
All right.
I got to end this one and get that one started and transfer that over to the host. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. It was an excellent class. Some really good questions, you guys. And I'm sorry, Patrick and Joy, that I wasn't able to answer your questions. That's where you really want to get your hand up. I knew Mike had his hand up while I was working with Patricia, so I could time myself. When you wait until the very end of class to put your hands up, we have too many classes going on now. We can't do what we used to do, where we would just let the class keep running until we answered everyone. We simply can't do that anymore. So you got to make sure we know you're going to have a question sooner rather than later, so that we can manage our time the best to try to answer everyone's questions. I do apologize. Please feel free to jump into Megan's class. That is Lesko Help Presents Funding the Nation's Grants. I can't remember exactly all the stuff that Megan's got going on there, but she's an excellent source of knowledge and inspiration as well. And she will be starting in 6 minutes wherever you are. That will be 2:00 p.m. Pacific, 3:00 p.m. Mountain, 4:00 p.m. Central, and 5:00 p.m. Eastern. And I will be back with you, I believe, next Monday. We're going to transition Tammy Larson into handling the buy a home calls for you. But I'll probably still be with you this coming Monday. And I hope to see you all then. Thank you. Please feel free to unmute your mic and say good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night, everyone. See you guys next week.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.